We
Live,
are live.
live and direct from sunny Southern California. How are you guys?
Not so sunny today.
Nope, not sunny at all.
Yeah.
All right, well,
But
it's time
still a
for
nice
roll
day.
call. Steve, I'm doing
Yes?
roll call.
Oh, hit it.
So this is roll call. So when you
Oh.
want to ask me later, did I do roll call? This is roll call.
What, you're doing
Ready?
roll call?
Yes, Brett and Kevin and Jill and Marty and Rick and Sandy, and I am sure I know we have Frank in there. Rose is a little late coming in, but she got a hall pass. And I think
Steve.
that's about it. You?
Yeah, I think I'm here.
Ah,
No yawning.
why am I yawning? I know I'm not allowed to do that. All right. So this is not going to be a particularly long show because it is, well, it will be a long episode, but not a long live show. Do a little quick test recording here. I am hearing that. Why'd the screen go black?
I was just testing some things.
Oh, looks like I need to save NCF. Something's gross tonight. Yeah, that is attractive.
Want to track the sunset.
Roger Chang posted a link to an article with a bunch of photos of the United States before there was regulation about air and water. It's really horrific to look at. John, which John did we just get?
NASA Nut,
Let me go
John.
check. NASA Nut, how are you? Do you have your ticket yet to Macstock? All right.
Rose is back.
Oh, good. Well, then we can start. Let me do a little playback. Make sure you guys can hear this. Should just be music. Can I get a confirmation? Not from Steve. Nobody said they could hear playback. All right. That means I have the wrong input set in here. And there it is. That's why. There you go. Now, can you hear me now? Okay,
there
good.
You go.
Heard it on YouTube. Yeah, I have to change it like 8 places. It's a complicated setup. I'm just saying. All right, why don't we get started?
Sounds
Here
good.
we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, January 26, 2020, and this is show number 768. This week's show is going to be a blast. We've got an interview about an AI-based baby monitor and one of my favorite interviews all about a smart connected lobster trap. Oh, really? It's really cool. And it solves an actual problem. It is one of my favorite interviews. Then I'll tell you about a wicked cool AI-based transcription service that can do amazing things for free. We'll get back to interviews after that with a modular action camera that can also be a 360 camera. And we'll learn how you can make fancy cocktails at home with a fancy new device. Then we'll have 60 minutes of terror with another installment of security bits with Bart Bouchatz. But before we dig into the show, I want to give the live audience fair warning. There will not be a live show on Sunday, the 2nd of February, Super Bowl Sunday. And I've tried to do the show on Super Bowl Sunday, and I'm often quite lonely in the live show while everyone else gets to watch commercials and find out why Mr. Peanut was killed off. Also, all weekend, Steve and I will be doing various projects at Lindsay's house. I'm going to be figuring out why her Netgear Orbi mesh system isn't delivering enough of the Wi-Fi's, and Steve is going to be installing their new Ecobee smart thermostat and their Rachio smart sprinkler system. I'm also going to be patching a drywall hole in my future granddaughter's room. As you can see, there's no place to squeeze in a live show at all. The show will, of course, come out next week. Might be early or it might be on Monday. I haven't figured that out just yet. But I repeat, no live show. You can still go into the live show chat room at podfeet.com/chat and talk about the fate of Mr. Peanut, though, if you like. All right, everybody catch that? No live show.
So Mike joined us. Mike LaPont.
Mike LaPont.
So I think he's buying.
Oh yeah, totally.
It was clear.
Did Rose?
Rose got in before. No, Rose got in before you started. After the roll
Yeah,
call,
but
but before
no,
you
but
started.
she was late last week.
Yes, Mike, it's a ritual. I know. It's a tradition we have here that the last person to show up does the
No, they
virtual
only if they're late.
late after the show begins recording. Then you buy the virtual round. But you could be saved if someone shows up even later. Of course, everyone will have a round by then, so after you have a second round.
I guess so.
Yeah. Pinot. Okay, Sandy's asking for Pinot if for the first round.
Sounds good.
I know Frank's order.
A gin and tonic. I think I'll have a nice Pinot with Sandy. Virtual bourbon and water.
So
what bourbon do you like?
Brett's cheering for a lot of late arrivals.
You don't get extra drinks. It's just that.
No, I think it's one round per late arrival.
Oh, is it? All right. Let me keep going here.
All right.
In this week's installment of Programming by Stealth, Bart explains his new plan for both the content of Programming by Stealth and the way the show notes are created and presented to you. Bart has noticed that because we put a challenge solution and new content into the same show, the solution kind of gets shortchanged. And that's really a shame because there's so much he can teach by explaining the whys behind the decision of his solutions to the challenges he gives us. The new plan is to have the challenge solutions be standalone shows, and then the new content will be standalone shows as well. We'll be having more time to do our challenges with this new plan. I'm excited because I've enjoyed the extra time we've had with our currency converter challenge, allowing us to enhance our solutions and be, more creative. I've been having a blast with it. So this week's installment is a review of why he made certain decisions on how to solve the last Programming by Stealth challenge, which was to add the ability for the user of our currency exchange web app to enter a value to be converted to the different currencies. Bart is also completely re-architecting all of his web presence stuff, including his Programming by Stealth show notes. His new online presence will be at his site, bartificer.net, and PBS itself will be at pbs.bartificer.net. And that link is actually to a GitHub page. Now, I know that sounds crazy, and Bart's going to tell us more about it, but this is going to allow him to be much more creative and spend less time faffing about as a system admin. This is very much a work in progress, and we expect a few learning opportunities along the way. With all that said, you can find the show notes to this week's installment of Programming by Stealth at pbs.bartificer.net. And I lost a parenthesis or a square bracket in there so you don't have a link. Oh, hang on.
No, it's there.
Hang on.
Bartificer.net. I have a link.
Yeah, I got to refresh the show notes because my corrections aren't in there. Oh, save? Sure. Yeah, because let's see how that looks now. Do you see did I put a featured image in? Yeah, no.
No, it goes directly to Bartificer, so there's no. This isn't a
no. For
post.
For the whole blog post. My
no featured
okay.
image.
I must not have saved what I did because I had one. And that's misspelled. Bartificer.net. And to you, but it will to me. All right. Those are links. There we go. All right. So we're going to go to the Kubo AI-based
baby monitor.
Yes. Right. Link. Go back up here again. Tap again. There we go. Right. All right, let's get started with our first interview from CES. And good job having those ready for me. That's totally working, by the way, Steve. That's not working. Okay, come on. I just finished saying it's totally working the way you're giving me the the audio files, but I think I connected into the Drobo too early, and it's just sitting there spinning, waiting for me now. I had it ready earlier. There we go. I did it too soon.
Working now? Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Did you just hit your microphone?
Yeah. It's mad at it.
Yeah. Artificer.net. All right, let's get started with our first interview from CES. I'm at the Cubo booth. Ooh, you hear a lot of the previous person in that. I'm gonna bring that down a little bit more. Doing some little weirdness here. Right, how do I do that? Ooh, I don't know if I can do what I want to do. See how this sounds. I do not have a good way to do.
You have oh, you can't bring down that front part?
No, I can't. I could only.
Huh.
Yeah, it's real annoying. This is something I don't like about Hindenburg. From CES. I'm at the. In fact, I'm going to cut that off. You got a lot of. So currently we are. What happens if I do that? Oh, there we go. Let's get started with our first interview from CES. I'm at the Cubo booth with Brian Lynn.
You probably have to take it right up. Yeah.
CES. I'm at the Cubo.
You're cutting your
yeah, I know.
You have to ramp yourself up sooner.
Yeah, but the problem is, yeah, faster maybe there.
Faster, right.
Review from CES. I'm at the Cubo booth with Brian Lynn, and what he doesn't know is that both of my daughter and my daughter-in-law are pregnant, and so it seems like a good place to stop by and check out the Cubo baby monitor.
Yes, definitely. Hi, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Cubo is one of the first AI-based baby monitors. It's designed to provide proactive alerts for parents to be able to know the current status of their babies. Right now, there's a lot of new monitors coming out that's doing breathing monitoring.
So I'm going to jump us to the end here, but the cool thing about this one is that it watches your baby's face to see if it's getting covered up by a blanket or if the baby rolls over and it could be in danger of suffocating, which is kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah, they talk about AI, using AI to detect the face in certain conditions.
All right, should I just jump right into IO Trapster? Let me hear how this one starts. Okay.
That was a much quieter environment, as I recall.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, and this was Trapster. No, I don't know why I have to do two different links, or I have to put the title in twice. One is the URL title and one is the title, and I have no idea what that means, whether those are actually two different things in the
should try one blank one time and just see what results.
Yeah, or I mean, like I'm thinking, should one just say IO Trapster and the other one has that big long title?
Oh, yeah, that's another way to do it.
All right. So for this one, I'm going to do it IO Trapster. So somebody is in charge of trying to remember how did this.
It's Trapter.
What did IO Trapster look like?
Forgot an S.
What is that? Oh, that's the Eye of Sauron one. That is horrible.
You got a typo there on Trapster.
Oh, there's no S.
Trapter.
Wow, good eye. Good eye, Steve. Good eye.
Good thing
good
I
eye,
had
Brian.
High def. I wouldn't have seen it otherwise.
Good eye, Brian. I was gonna let it hit me, but then I didn't. Only one person listening will get that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Brian. Appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.
I get a lot of press announcements, and I have to feed through a lot of them, but I look for the unusual, and I think I may have found it here. We're going to talk to Nicholas Poitin?
Exactly.
I got that right? And we're going to talk about a connected fishing trap, I think. Is that right?
It's exactly the point. When we was in Brittany, west side of France, we tried to fish with a trap, a traditional trap, some lobster, and for some reason, when you put this trap inside the sea, you don't see anything. You don't know where it is. You don't know if it's like this or whatever. With this
You
system,
don't know if anything is in it either.
yeah, either. The matter is sometimes you get lots of fish, sometimes you don't get any lobster, you know. So with this application, it's really easy to do. We had a simple box just here, which is
I'm going to describe some things. It's audio as well as video. So what he's pointing at is a buoy,
Yeah.
and you've added a box below that.
exactly. And here inside we have a cam and
A camera inside the trap
yes,
itself.
inside the trap. This cam is connected through a cable to this
To the buoy.
buoy. Yes.
Okay.
And the buoy is connected to our main data center because we are a service provider,
Oh, okay.
which is delivering internet access and so on in west side of France. And we connected this buoy to our server, and with intelligence artificial, we received a push on our cell phone. Like here, as you can see, we can see inside it that you receive, for example, a lobster.
So we're looking right now at the TV. It's got we're watching the inside of a trap.
So you
And there's
can
an
check.
octopus in there, and maybe a sponge or something, and every once in a while, maybe a lobster, right?
Really, exactly the point. And
So
so
you get a push notification
yeah,
on
you
your
get-
phone.
And the phone is saying if it's a lobster or a fish.
Oh, okay. That's why you said that artificial intelligence is
Yes.
telling you whether you've actually got
Exactly.
lobster. You don't want to pull it up if you don't have
So
lobster yet.
When you are in your house and say, look at your cell phone, say, hey, I got to go to put my trap because there are some lobster inside it. You know.
Why go out and check and check and check and check
so
if you
it's
can be
very
told?
well food for the environment. You know, because you don't use gas oil with your boat to have nothing. So
Oh, yeah,
for
right.
the
And
instance,
wasting time, right?
yeah, this is the point, as you can see here.
So the name of the product is
IO Trapster
IO Trapster, and the company is
is
GSC. And where would people be able to find this online?
gsc.com and iotrasper.com.
Very
you can
good.
download the application on the store.
Now, when do you expect to have this available?
Let's say we have the pre-order for the meeting of the CES right now. So we have 100 pre-built systems that we can sell with a special discount price to receive a notification from our customer to let them know if it's good enough or if we have to.
So you're
do
kind of in
better.
trial runs at
Yes.
this point. So now you mentioned that your network is available in France.
Yes, exactly.
Any other countries?
Yes, it's worldwide based.
Oh, it is worldwide now.
We
Okay.
have a SIM server inside it, and we can connect it all over the world.
Wow, that is fantastic. This is really cool. So this again was the IO Trapster
Yeah.
from GSC.com.
gsc.com.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, was I right? Wasn't that cool? Actually, I'm going to say that.
Very cool.
Okay, was I right? Is that hilariously cool? I mean, it sounds really dopey that they're going to put smarts and AI in a lobster trap, but you can see that it solves a real problem. I love that. All right. Oh, to entertain you guys, watch this little video clip. That's what I'm going to be talking about here. I'll give you that for a moment to entertain you, to keep the crowd at bay while I go grab the link. This is so cool, this service. This thing I'm going to tell you about is free.
Is that your blog post of the same? Of what
Yeah.
you're about to...
It's in the blog
Okay.
post. I'm going to change all these to where the beginning is just a couple words like otter.ai, and then the URL title will be the big long thing. See what, but somebody, You think about the price of lobster, it's not so silly. Well, if you think about, I don't know how much this thing's going to cost, but if you think about how much it costs to go out and back to keep checking on a lobster trap, that's got to be expensive, right? You got fuel, you got time and labor, you got wear and tear on the boat. Could be pretty cool.
Seem to see a nice little poop emoji or something on your post.
Well, that's neat.
Let's see if it goes.
Well, it's not a post, Steve. It's just the MP4. Did that not work?
No, I guess it does resolve. Oh yeah.
Click it. It's a little tiny video.
Yeah, it works. It's loud.
Yeah, it was for Kevin. All right, muting Steve. You have probably figured out that I create my content as a podcast and also as a series of blog posts. I've found over the nearly 15 years of podcasting that I don't speak well at all as a solo speaker without a script. While I can sound articulate when speaking on mic to another person, when I'm alone, my speech is filled with ums and ahs and I sound really dopey. I even tried just writing bullet points to remind me of what I wanted to say, but I found that I was writing full sentences and then editing them down to bullet points. I realized that there are those who would rather read than listen, so why not just give them the full text? Why go to all the work of converting sentences to bullet points if I could give people the full text? But this process certainly is not for everyone. In fact, I don't know anybody who does it this way. Over the years, though, I've gotten lots of positive feedback for providing the script of my shows. I've heard from people with severely limited bandwidth who can't listen to the audio, to a guy who is deafblind and reads the show on his Braille display. So, what if you've got the audio content and you want a transcript of what was said? Even if you're not a podcaster, what if you have meetings where you'd like the full text for later reference? Transcription services are enormously expensive and take a lot of time because it's a really annoying thing to do by hand. For years, people have been trying to create automated ways to do it, and I think that good grief, Sandy, it says draw.ai. It doesn't say otter.ai. It's been published for how long? Sandy. Oh, she was only looking for typos. Yeah, I keep wanting draw.ai, draw.io and otter.ai sound the same in my head. And I wrote draw.ai. Where is it? It's not draw.ai. It's otter. Otter.ai. Make sure I send that to the post. Okay.
Did you find it?
Didn't check like no, it was just the words. It was just like the completely wrong service. Okay, I got it. Yeah,
I did find draw. Is there just one draw?
I hope so. You could do a search for the word draw.
Yeah,
if you find draw in there.
I just found one.
Okay, good.
Right before, remember the review with Andy Dolph.
Okay. For years, people have been trying to okay. No. For years, people have been trying to create automated ways to do transcription, and I think otter.ai might finally deliver on that dream. Remember the review Andy Dolph did about QLab for timing audio and video? He was a guy that was talking about music timing to go with a Christmas train. When he sent that in, he only sent in the audio. I wrote back and I asked him whether he had a script for it so I could make a blog post. And he said that he hadn't written one, but that he'd get me one. A few minutes later, he sent me a nearly perfect transcription of his recording. Andy explained that the tool he used was a speech-to-text app from otter.ai. Now, before I tell you a single thing about this tool, hold on to your hats for the price. Otter.ai is free for 600 minutes of transcription per month. That is crazy pants. The premium plan is only $100 a year for 6,000 minutes per month, and premium users get even more options than free users, and I'll be highlighting a few as we get into it. Now that you know that otter.ai is inexpensive, you're probably thinking, well, it's probably not very good. This is where you'd be wrong. I made a short recording recently for the Mac Geek Gab asking Dave and John a question, so I had this little tiny audio file. I used that recording as a test of otter.ai. I dropped the M4A file into the web app at otter.ai. It immediately started processing the file, and a few minutes later, I was notified that the transcript was complete. The resultant text was 239 words, And other than where I stumbled over a word and a couple of very technical words that it didn't get right, it only made 3 mistakes. That is a 98.7% accuracy rate. What's your accuracy rate when typing? Mine is not 98.7, I can tell you that. Now, I know if you're just rambling into a microphone, you wouldn't be as articulate as the practice monologue that I had submitted to Dave and John, but still, that's pretty amazing. I made a video for the show notes, which would make no sense to play for the audio podcast, where you can see Otter.ai reading back the transcript while you listen to me talk. You can see why it made a few mistakes here and there, like writing P space list when I said P lists. In the view I show you in the video, you can listen and edit at the same time. They say that if you do edit your text, that helps the engine to learn, which is very cool. You can slow down the speech and speed it up with keystrokes, which is really useful too for doing the editing. I started thinking about how expensive it is for Don McAllister to have closed captions for the hearing impaired on his video tutorials and screencasts online. And I wondered whether this might work for his production workflow. There's not just the cost, but the turnaround speed also affects the price he pays for human transcription. If you can wait a week, it's less expensive than if you want it in 24 hours. Now, he's worked these extra days into a parallel path for his workflow, but what if he only had to wait, say, an hour instead of days to get a transcript? If this works, it could be a boon for making YouTube content accessible as well. For closed captions, what you need is called an SRT file, which stands for subrip subtitle file. An SRT file is not just text, it's text with timestamps, so you can just drop it into the video file and it syncs right up. Otter.ai calls your recording transcripts conversations. If you select a conversation, you have options to export. Free users can export to the clipboard or to a plain text file, but that's it. The premium users, again, remember it's only $100 a year. They not only get 6,000 minutes per month, they also get extended export options, including DocX, PDF, and the SRT file you need for video subtitles. I guarantee you that would be well worth the price for Don if the quality is good enough. I tested Otter.ai on one of my Screencast Online video tutorials by exporting the audio out of ScreenFlow. I was too lazy to listen to all 8,734 words that Otter.ai transcribed for me to check for mistakes, but I did count for the first 900 words. In 900 words, it made 6 legitimate mistakes, or 99.3% accuracy. And I do have to point out, every single one of those mistakes was when I didn't clearly say the word. Like, for example, I said max at one point and it wrote MAX. Well, in context, maybe it should have figured that out, but still, that's pretty good. I know what I said from context, but I could see a human transcribing it exactly as Otter.ai did. Now, I'm not counting words it couldn't possibly know or capitalization it wouldn't know about in my 99.3% accuracy rating. I also found that punctuation accuracy varied depending on the style of speech that I gave it. Now, I'm a complete novice at doing subtitles, but I really wanted to see if this could work for video subtitles, especially if I could help boss man Don. You can pay month to month with Otter.ai, which is great if you only occasionally need the advanced capabilities. So I ponied up $10 to do an experiment. I exported my shiny new transcript from Otter.ai to an SRT file on my disk using all of the default options. I poked around in the menus of ScreenFlow for how to import a caption file and how to get it to show up on screen. When I imported the SRT file, again with 8,734 words, it put all of it into the first 23 seconds. I was baffled on why it didn't import the entire 47 minutes of text. I did a ton of searching online and both the ScreenFlow web pages and on Otter.ai site, but I couldn't find any clues to why it did this. I went back to the export options for SRT files, and I found things about adding line breaks automatically, max number of lines, and a few other things, and I fiddled with those dials, but it didn't solve the problem. I looked at the imported text inside the caption field in ScreenFlow, and I discovered that there was a lot more than 23 seconds worth of transcript packed into that caption for 23 seconds. I found the end of the text it had packed into 23 seconds, and then I looked back at the transcript in Otter.ai. That giant segment of text stopped at the exact point in the transcript where Otter.ai had made a paragraph break. Aha! I must have stumbled. Save. That giant that giant segment of text stopped at the exact same point in the transcript where Otter.ai had made a paragraph break. Aha! I must have to get rid of the paragraph breaks. So now I have the entire 47 minutes worth of transcript crammed into that 23. No, it's not saying the right thing. I'm getting myself confused. That giant segment of text stopped at the exact same point in the transcript where Otter.ai had made a paragraph break. Ah, now I'm on to something. I must have to get rid of the paragraph breaks over in the transcript. Well, after I did that, instead of just having it right up to that paragraph, now the entire 47 minutes worth of transcript was crammed into that 23-second video segment. I shot off a note to Otter.ai tech support confessing that I was a noob about doing transcripts and trying to import SRT files, and I went to bed. Their help system said to expect help in a day or two. In the morning, with a fresh brain, I looked at ScreenFlow again, and I immediately figured out what was wrong. There was nothing wrong with Otter.ai. When creating a video in ScreenFlow, you do a lot of editing, so the video and audio tracks get all chopped up into short segments. 23 seconds was the length of the first audio segment in my file. Clearly, importing captions put them all into the first audio segment it finds. So I grabbed this entire audio track of all these little tiny pieces in ScreenFlow and I deleted it. And then I imported the audio track I'd exported in the first place to upload to Otter.ai to get the transcript. So now I had one single 47-minute audio clip. After I did that, I imported the SRT file one more time and it worked perfectly. I now have a 47-minute accessible to the hearing impaired video tutorial, and the total cost was $10. Now, I don't know what the best rates are on the market, but I saw a tweet from The Verge that transcription service Rev, which is the one Don uses, is raising their prices to $1.25 a minute. So this 147-minute video would have cost $37 if transcribed by Rev. And for my $10, I still have 5,953 minutes of audio I can transcribe this month. Now, I've shot off a render of the video to Don and the team, and I can't wait to hear if this is as big of a deal as I think it is. They are excited to run their own tests, and they're going to compare Rev to Otter.ai to see how well it stacks up. All right, now let's go back to normal people and how you might want to use it for Otter.ai. You don't have to submit a pre-recorded audio file to Otter.ai. You can just talk directly to the web app via your internal or big girl microphone and ramble out your thoughts. When I tried this method, it seemed to have a lot more trouble figuring out when to put in a period versus a comma than it did in my practice speech. It made 0 textual mistakes in about a minute of speech, which, like I said, is a lot better than I can type. Now, while you're babbling into your mic, Otter.ai will be transcribing real time. It's kind of distracting, so I tried not to watch. When you're done recording, there will be a little notice telling you it's processing, and then you'll be able to see your transcript and listen along and edit, as I described earlier. I was poking around in the help files, and then I discovered they have apps for Android and iOS. The apps for your mobile devices can do pretty much everything that the web app can do, and maybe even a little more. You can edit, export, and even create a cute little tag cloud. Can't do that in the web app. They suggest that if you use a phone, put it in the middle of the room at a meeting and let Otter.ai create a transcript for you. I'm not sure how well that's going to work because they also suggest that your transcription accuracy will go up if you can get closer to the mic. They suggest other use cases for the tool, like simply recording your ideas with it so you get a text transcription. Now, think about this. How many people have tried to record their... I don't like the cadence of that. Save. Here's another idea. How many people have tried to record their elderly parents or friends telling their stories of their childhood that they want to be preserved? With Otter.ai, you could get the stories not just in their own voices, but a text transcript as well. Maybe you want to record your own memoirs and want to think it out extemporaneously first and edit the text later. There's so many cool possibilities with what you can do with Otter.ai. And remember, this kind of transcription I'm talking about costs you $0. Doesn't cost anything. You can share your conversations with other Otter.ai users. Pat Dengler and I tested sharing conversations with each other, and they simply showed up in a folder called Shared with Me. Surprisingly, I was able to edit her transcription and she could edit mine. I could also just add little comments to the text, which seemed to be a little bit more polite. Once you've added someone to a shared project, you can change their privileges from edit to comment to simply view. When you share conversations with someone, it creates a group automatically. I tapped on the group for Pat, and in there I could not only see what she had shared with me, but the conversation I had shared with her. Otter.ai even has organization tools. You can create named folders and move any conversation into them. I can see it getting a big mess in Otter.ai pretty quickly if they didn't have these nice organization capabilities. I flip back and forth between my Mac on the Otter.ai web app and my iPhone and iPads and their dedicated iOS apps, and it all worked perfectly. I mean, it was syncing instantaneously between all of them. It worked really, really well. I am super excited about Otter.ai and what it could mean to accessibility. Everyone wants to do the right thing and provide transcripts, but until now, it was prohibitively expensive. The ability to transcribe meetings, interviews, and even your own notes for little to no cost is absolutely fantastic. If I've gotten you excited about Otter.ai, I've included a referral link in the show notes. You get a free 1-month premium pass, and I think I do too, if you use the link I put in the show notes. All right. Here is my affiliate link if you guys use that. If anybody is interested.
So that's an insanely good price, right?
Well, free for a lot of stuff and
Well,
$10 a month.
But
it's great.
even the paid version seems pretty good. What was the other service that you are familiar with as a comparison?
Rev, that's human transcription, so it might be more accurate, but it's $1.27 a minute.
Versus what did you say?
This is $10 $120 or $100 a year, or $10 if you buy month to month. So I did
and
this.
How much free?
For 600 minutes a month.
600. Wow.
But you can't do transcription, say you can't do those SRT files.
The time codes.
About. Yeah. You're holding it out for it to drop to free. Well, it is free. Unless
if you don't need the time codes.
Isn't free. You want the non-free stuff to be free. Don't we all? Oh, I need to send that one back up to fix that link. And that I knew I would do that. All week long as I've been telling random people on the street about this service, I kept calling it draw.ai. It's draw.io and otter.ai. You guys should play with it, though. It's really cool. Yeah, 600 minutes is a lot.
Yeah, it really is.
It's crazy. All right. It is time to go for the Insta360. So we're at 24 minutes. We have 2 more interviews and an hour of security bits. Yeah, but what's his Hoosie? What's his Hoosie? Joe LaGreca told me that I am not allowed to just not do any of my own content for the next 3 months. He says I have to keep doing new content. Are you typing and not talking, Steve?
Oh, just having a side conversation.
Oh, are you? Oops. I'm really curious to see what this looks like. Okay, here we go. The link I put in the show notes. My friend Pat Dengler said, I got to stop by the Insta360 booth because they've got a cool new camera. All right, that's all you get. This is kind of interesting.
Are you going to
think? What's that?
You going to mention the camera that didn't work so well? Although you pulled it out of the, I edited it.
Yeah,
the
they have a little thing called the 360, Insta360, what was it called? Go. It's a little thing you clip on your shirt, a little tiny camera. And I started trying to write it up a review of it, and I realized I hated it. It was the worst thing I'd ever used. I mean, it was just, let's see.
But this Insta360 1R is pretty cool. It's a
Yeah.
separate product.
Let's see. Bluetooth connectivity sucked. The single button's on the back, so you kind of mash the whole device into your chest to push the button. Let's see. There's no feedback on what it's doing. Time lapse looked bad. The charging case has a lightning port. Well, that was actually a good thing. It was supposed to be 6-axis stabilization. The website was crap.
It's like a badly done analog to an iPod Shuffle, but for cameras.
Yeah, it was horrible.
But you might want to just say a little bit about the 360 because it's pretty cool.
Well, why don't you?
So
If
this
you
camera is
want
modular. It comes in 3 pieces. This red base, which is the battery, and 2 modules. One is the lens and sensor, and the other is the actual controller, which you can kind of see on the right there. And these plug and play so that you can swap out different lens sensor combinations. So one of those modules is a full 360 or 4-pi Steradian camera, but another is more like a traditional wide-angle GoPro. And then a third is this one shown here with a large Leica lens and a really high-res, low-light sensor. So you get some, pretty good flexibility for a tiny camera, and very, very good control and waterproof to like 10 feet. I think it's just a neat camera. It's not cheap.
The Leica lens is the one you really wanted, though, right?
Yeah, I think it was $350. It was comparable to a Hero.
That was without that gave you the 360 and the regular action camera. But then if you wanted the Leica, I think it went up to pushing $500.
Right.
Your birthday's coming,
I don't know if I need one. I mean, I've got the Hero.
Yeah, and you've got a 360 that you bring, but you carry both.
I do.
But you'd be fussing around with changing that. All right, let me listen to this intersection here. That might be too close together, but. Very good. Thank you, Michael. This is fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm standing here drinking an old-fashioned with Nathaniel Davis from DrinkWorks, who appears to have some way to make alcohol because you've made me a drink.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, this is the DrinkWorks Home Bar by Keurig. So DrinkWorks is a joint venture between Keurig Dr. Pepper and Anheuser-Busch. So think about it as the intersection between appliances and technology and the alcohol beverage space.
Okay. Lest the audience get drunk here. All right.
That was a fun interview.
Yeah, it's I think we need a Keurig for booze. Okay. We actually did 2 of these. There's another one.
Yes. That'll come out later.
All right.
It's a real pleasure. Thanks.
All right. Well, let's sober up here and take a pledge break. I talk about becoming a patron of the Podfeet podcast pretty often. You know the drill. You go to podfeet.com/Patreon and you sign up as a token of your belief that I provide value that's worth a little bit of your personal money. Now, what do you get for that money? Well, I don't give you a hat or a pin or even a sticker. I don't give you extra content. I don't give you the inside track on what's going on at the Podfeet podcast empire. No, all you get for becoming a patron is the knowledge that you are personally one of the select few who help keep the shows going each and every week by helping to pay the expenses. You can feel warm in your heart about your contribution. If you haven't yet signed up to become a patron, I hope you'll consider doing it this week. Who doesn't need to feel all warm and fuzzy about themselves? What was that, Frank?
Wow. Well, I need to go become a patron right now.
I know, don't you think? All right. Those are all done. All right. Now, time for some. I don't think Bart ever gave me his audio, but that's fine. I think his audio is peaking. Okay. This is security bits. You playing with your mic again?
Yeah, it keeps drifting up by itself.
Oh, yeah. You need a new rubber band or something.
I need a weaker one.
Yeah, we are both engineers. You'd think we could probably crack the code on this.
There are mechanisms to tighten it so it doesn't go up as much, but I've got it cranked down about as much as I can.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, let me listen to this transition. Oh, nope. Let me put in a chapter marker before Kevin yells at me. Bits. Copy link. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. Like, crazy. All right. What are you laughing at?
Kevin.
What do you do now?
Look at the chat.
Is he laughing?
I trust he is.
Or he's going, ah!
Well, it could be both.
All right, here we go. Doing it this week. Who doesn't need to feel all warm and fuzzy about themselves? Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time with 4 security bits with Bart Busschots. And how's that plan to make the show short going, Bart?
Not hearing Bart.
Not quite, right?
Not hearing Bart.
That's not possible.
Well,
how can you guys hear Bart, or is it just Steve or everybody else? You know what? It's stereo. So you might be listening to some sort of mono thing.
Well, YouTube doesn't hear
right here. He's in my right ear.
Right? Interesting. So we're not picking it up on the YouTube stream.
Wow, why would that be? That's really interesting. Okay,
let me check my audio settings here.
Okay, hang on. Let's see. So I can separate him. Just this is just for experimental sake. So right now, let's see. Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time.
I just love that plan.
Can you hear him now?
The universe is totally on board.
That's interesting. So you can't hear stereo.
Well, I'm not sure why that is, because my audio has both channels selected.
That's really interesting.
Well, wait a minute. NDI. I'm getting
No,
NDI.
It's not part of the NDI stream. It's what I'm sending you.
Okay, so that's Facecam.
Hang on. No, not Facecam. It is YouTube Live Input. This is just fun. What am I looking for? Probably maybe Loopback might be doing it. Let's see. So Loopback.
But just for YouTube.
Oh, you're right. You're right. That can't, if that's coming correctly into, I can't be the one doing it. It's your fault. You see something eventually, but I don't think I can think
stuff out. But no,
let me put that back. Yeah, it's definitely there.
Huh. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Huh. Might happen again. We'll find out. All right. I'm going to finish this up here. Here we go. Bringing it home. Hour and 51 minutes.
Regardless of that, until then, stay patched so you stay secure.
Well, I hope that was enough content for you. And no, I'm not going to talk for the next 9 minutes to make this be a 2-hour recording. We're coming in way under that this time. But it is going to wind us up for this week. Don't forget to send in your dumb questions, comments, suggestions, your reviews. I love playing listener reviews. You can do that by emailing me at allison@podfeet.com. And you can follow me on Twitter at Podfeet. Remember, everything good starts with podfeet.com. Want to become a patron like we talked about? Get all that warm and fuzzy feeling? Podfeet.com/Patreon. Maybe you don't want a weekly, monthly payment. Maybe you want to just do a one-time donation. You can do that at podfeet.com/PayPal. If you want to join in the conversation, I can highly recommend going to podfeet.com/Slack, because you can find Bart in there too, so you can talk to him about security bits and programming by stealth and get his nerdy and non-nerdy look at life. Or if you like Facebook better, we're there too at podfeet.com/Facebook. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, but not on Super Bowl Sunday, there will be no live show next week. Don't forget, head on over to podfeet.com/live on most Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Join the friendly and enthusiastic Nosilla castaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Drink heavily and you can become whatever you want. That must have meant drink. Maybe Frank started drinking early.
No, I gave them all the link to Shy and Jessica's bit on the TV on the.
Oh,
new show.
Neat! Did they like it?
A lot of positive comments about Shy and his voice.
Yeah, isn't he amazing?
So that event I think is this Tuesday in Vegas.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. When you meet him, you would think he would be really vain because he's like, first of all, he's beautiful to look at. He's got this amazing voice. He's elegant. He's articulate, super nerdy. He's the singer and dancer. But the first thing he said when we met up with him in Vegas was, "Hey, I got this really cool thing for holding onto the back of my phone. Not a pop socket, but it's a thing like that." And he started showing it to us.
And then we said, that's when we said, "Oh, that's the device that we got as a little
oh yeah,
a little gift at one of the."
We walked into this thing by Wired. It was an open bar. We just wanted a place to sit down, really, but we went in and they had the exact same device sitting on the tables. They threw a bunch of them down. We didn't know what they were, and we left it there. I was bummed. Anyway, all right. There's a movement to make it Super Bowl Saturday. It's crazy talk. All right, let me get this last thing here. In Pacific time, join the friendly and enthusiastic and stay subscribed. A little late. It's really there. You think I know where that is by now. And stay subscribed. It's been on my Facebook, so it must be true. I like it. All right. We are a wrap. How many chapter marks should I have?
Let's look.
1 for Chit Chat Across the Pond, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I have 1, 2, wait. It's hard to read it like this. Right down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to change that one to just say Kubo. All right. We're done. Put a fork in us. It is 5:52 and I got a glass of Sangiovese waiting for me here.
Must not keep Podfeet from her medicine.
All right, guys. Like I said, if you want to hang out in the chat room at 5 o'clock on next Sunday night, you absolutely can. I don't know if I'll be there, or I don't know if Steve will be there, but if you guys want to talk to each other, you certainly can. Guys don't care when I'm talking anyway. So, all right, we will. Mike approves of my pronunciation, apparently. All right, everybody, I got to say goodbye to Rose and the rest of you. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. See you then.
Night, Gracie.